Uh, so my account got frozen because I deposited more than $9,000 into my account, and it was an unusual amount to the bank, so they froze my account. So
how long is your account frozen till?
I think until Monday when I can go in there and rip somebody's ass. But other than that, like, yeah, I'm kind of screwed. I mean, all I got is cash. I mean, I could send you an envelope with $20, but that's just fucking stupid. And sorry if if you got to edit this shit, but yeah. So I'm kind of screwed. Like I can't even use my debit card, bro. It sucks.
So what you're saying is you want a shirt Monday?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll get back to you.
Ooh, big head on the beat.
This call is now being recorded.
Welcome back to the show. On the line we have Brad and Devine. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing terrible, man.
Yeah, I bet.
I'll just fuck around. But tell me a lot about this. I guess from my knowledge, basically, you were like in a cult. You were born into a cult, or you were in a cult as a kid?
Yeah, as a kid. So my mom joined when I was about 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long were you in there for?
I left around the age of 21. So, I mean, that's math I don't even know.
Damn, that's crazy, man. How old are you now?
I am 36 now.
Okay, that's crazy. So, they're in a crazy amount of time. Like, so what, can we say the name of it or anything like that, or
That's up to you. If you wanna blast them, go ahead.
I'm cool with it. I just didn't know what you were thinking.
Yeah.
So, what are they called?
The House of Yahweh.
House of Yahweh. Okay, I'm gonna look up some stuff on the phone with you too.
Yeah.
But basically, so tell us a little bit about like some of the stuff they did. That was fucked up.
Well, when I first went there, it wasn't so bad. Like, I'm a young kid at the time, so like, I just wanted to play with other kids, obviously, and there were people there with other kids. And my mom and grandmother, they were kind of like seeking for what they would call like the true name, which I guess is Yahweh. And they wanted a place that celebrated the Sabbath on a Saturday, because they knew it had to be like the 7th day of the week. And this place had it. So that was kind of their pull. And we went down there 3 times a year. They do like these feasts. They do like a Passover, they do a Pentecost, and they do a Tabernacles. And it's different times of the year. The Passover and the Tabernacles are like 7 days, and then the Pentecost is just 1 day. And if you live out of town, you go down there and you celebrate these feasts. And at first it was cool. It was like campfires and guitars and singing and stuff like that. But it got pretty dark, like pretty fast. Like in the early 90s, they brought out that it was okay for like men to have more than one wife. They brought out a big turning point for people was that, and the fact that they introduced that Satan was actually a female and used to be the wife of Yahweh, who got cast out of heaven.
Yeah, so you changed the story a little bit.
Yeah, so with that, it brought in a lot of like women, you don't want to be like Satan, who is like the ultimate disobedient wife. So then it started getting really complicated for the women. They started wearing like masks over their faces and head to toe gear and stuff like that. And then you really didn't know who you were looking at. And the guys weren't allowed to communicate with the females anymore. They ended up putting a wall up in the middle of the little church area. They started doing like arranged marriages, but of course the main leader guy, he got the prime pickings. If there was a new chick that came in or something like that, he got to see her first, and after that, that head-to-toe garb went on there, and then if you wanted a wife, you had to, like, fill out an application.
That's crazy.
And,
how many wives did you have?
I only had one. I was young, dumb, and full of cum, and I ended up sneaking around and started talking to this chick, and they found out about it, and we got in trouble for sneaking around. And they pretty much told me, hey, if you want to talk to this girl, you need to ask her dad for, if you can talk to her. This was a little bit before it got too, like, head to toe, and I was like, well, fuck it, I want to get laid. I was 20 at the time, and I was still a virgin, so I was like, well, it's now or never for me. That's the way I was thinking. so
like, fuck it, I'm married.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, fuck it.
So I went through with it, and she actually she's not a bad person. I have nothing ill to say about her, but it got to the point to where things were getting a little bit too scrutinizing on all the people that were my age. And my story isn't as thick as some of these other people's that have it, but I just really couldn't take it no more. So I was like, you know what, I'm out. So one night, man, I took 3 change of clothes and my Xbox, and I bounced. And no one knew I was going. No one knew where I was going, where I was, what I did, and I was just gone. I left her, I left my mom and my stepdad, and I was just out.
So, how'd you leave? Like, you just, threw it in a bag or something?
Well, there's a short story to that, too. Everyone, they have cell phones, and they have, it's like a business account. And then they charge everybody for these little cell phones that they have, because everyone works for, the guy, the leader. And he has this business account with all these cell phones, and you can have one, but you got to pay for it. And well, I had one, and it was one of those old brick Nokia phones where you could kind of go on the internet, but you couldn't look at a web page. You could only look at word data. So I found one of the yellow and white pages, and I looked up just someone that I knew that knew my uncle. And I found his phone number, and I called him, and I was like, hey, I need to get a hold of my uncle. And he's like, all right. And he gave me another number, and it was a local number. I was like, well, my uncle doesn't have a local number, but I called it. And sure as shit, man, my uncle was in town. And I was like, dude, I got to get the fuck out of here. And he's like, well, what's your mom think about that? I was like, fuck my mom. I need out, bro. And so he was like, okay, and this is my mom's brother. So he was like, all right, well, the consequences this is gonna bring down. I was like, I do not care, man. So I left. But one of my biggest turning points for leaving was I was working for the leader, and I was getting $120 a week to do electrical and plumbing. And we would take a whole week, and we would rough in this electrical into a house that he was either refabbing or that he had built. And then the sheetrockers would come in, they'd do the sheetrocking, and then they'd do the mud and the taping and the painting, and then we'd put on the face plates and finish up all this electrical work. And when we were done, and it took us probably a week and a half at $120 a week, then he would pay a professional licensed electrician to come in and sign his name on the work so that it could be legal, and then he'd pay that guy $300 to $600 just to sign his name. And I got super pissed because of all the work that I had done, and I had made less than this guy's signature. And so that was kind of my turning point. It kind of boiled down to a little bit of money. I was sick of living poor and watching everyone else reap all these benefits.
No, it sounds ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
there's a lot of people that are worse off than that, man. I was lucky enough to live in a little camper and with my wife, and you know, there's some people that they live in smaller shacks than what I lived in by themselves. But so fucked up shit. You want to know about some fucked up shit?
Yeah.
Let's see. Me personally, I was kind of shielded from a lot of the fucked up shit because they're trying to mold me into being like the next like priest or elder or whatever. So I was kind of taught how to teach kids and things like that. That's what they were trying to get me to do. But there was a situation where one of the elder guys, he ended up going to prison because he had molested one of his wife's children that she had from a previous relationship. And during this time, I didn't know what was going on, but my mother was the counselor of one of this guy's wives. And she had come to our house, and I was, I would say in my teens at this point, because I was still living at home. And I'd always eavesdrop on these little counseling sessions. And I remember her discussing with my mother about one of her younger daughters, who had to be about 2 or 3 years old, mentioned to her that when Daddy was giving her a bath, she touched her in her no-no spot. And my mom brushed it off, and she was like, oh, you know, kids say the darndest things. But then many years down the road, this guy ends up going to prison for molesting one of these kids.
The guy with the glasses and the beard and shit?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Yedidia.
Was he the founder?
No, Israel Hawkins is the founder. Yedidia, a real creepy looking dude. If you looked him up online, you'd be able to find him right away.
Yeah, he looks super creepy. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. And so basically putting 2 and 2 together, before this guy went to prison, years and years before that, they knew the kind of twisted shit that he was doing. And the way that they covered up is just throw another wife at him. Oh, this guy's got a sex problem. Just throw another wife at him. No, he doesn't have a sex problem. He has a fucking molestation problem is what he has. And so right before one of my buddies got out, they were offering his little sister to this guy, and she had to be about 14 or 15 years old. And so they knew about this guy's problem, so what they do, they just try to make the girls that they offer him younger and younger and younger. And it's just some gross shit, man. Gross.
They cater to his bullshit rather than punish him, basically, it seems like.
Exactly. But it all ties back to what I was saying earlier. The women are taught, hey, don't be like Satan, this female who fell from heaven, who is disobedient to Yahweh. You want to be righteous. So their biggest thing is obey first, understand later. So if we tell you, hey, you need to marry this dude, then you just shut up and fucking color, marry this dude, and then later you'll understand why you did it.
It's fucking crazy, man. What's this like shopping center thing when I Google I Googled like the House of Yahweh and like they have like a shopping center kind of thing on the official site or some shit? Like what is that?
So
is that their building or compound or something?
It's been a while since I've been there, but I do know that they have some stores. One of them is like called Life Nutrition, and I think it's like on T&P Lane in Abilene, Texas, or something like that.
Oh, that? Yeah, maybe it's store. Yeah, this one says the House of Yahweh and says love offers all or something in front of it or something. Some shit. It's like I was just Googling shit. It was the same one.
Yeah, that one I don't know about. But I know they sell like essential oils, and they got into this like Young Living pyramid scheme where they got everyone to sign up and like, hey, if you pay $100, so and so makes $100, so and so makes $100, and essentially the leader is the top dog. So all these pyramid $100 things, he ends up making like 10,000 or something like that.
It's hilarious. So it's a cult with the pyramid game.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Right.
So many buzzwords. So many fucking buzzwords. So is this like a pedophilia like sex cult or some shit, or like was there like drugs involved here? Like what kind of thing? Like what? It's like clearly for power first off, right? Like what else is like going on? Like,
so a lot of back in the 90s when the ATF raided David Koresh and the Branch Davidians down in Waco,
yeah,
there was like a rumor going around that they were coming to raid us. You know, oh, the ATF's coming here, but it had like snowed that winter or something like that, and like he preached that Yahweh had changed the weather and the ATF wasn't going to raid us no more. They were going to go down and raid the Branch Davidians, and the ATF ended up going in there and burning that fucking place to the ground.
Slaughtered them, yeah. Should have murdered them all, yeah.
Yes. So we were all like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, you know, like Yahweh saved us, you know, like, and he played on that, and he plays on everything. So, because he has like his own version of the Bible, so he took like the King James version, and then he takes like the Strong's Concordance and the Thesaurus and all that stuff, and like backwards translates everything to like the original Hebrew text, which a lot of these words have multiple meanings. So he just finds the meaning of the word that means what he wants it to say, and then rewrites this shit, and then tells people, hey, you know, you don't understand how to read the Bible, so let me read it for you and just tell you what it says. And that's how he does like his sermons and stuff like that. And he can pretty much manipulate anybody to believe what he wants them to believe. Now, there's rumors that there's like, they stockpile guns and they're a doomsday cult and things like that. Now, they do preach doomsday, but I've honestly never seen like stockpiles of guns or nothing like that. There are people that would probably claim that they have. Me personally, I didn't. So I can't attest to any of that stuff. But I do know that they preach like the world is going to end, and if you're not saved and, you know, by them and sealed into the faith or something like that, then you won't make it. But every time that they've made like a couple predictions, and every time that date passes, then he comes out with another sermon. It's like, oh, you know, we mistranslated it, or, you know, it wasn't this date, you know, like, it's a bunch of haka bullshit, man, and they feed on it. Everyone that's there feeds on it.
He calls the book the most accurate translation available on the website.
Right, yeah, okay, cool.
The Book of Yahweh, the most accurate translation available. That's fucking ballsy. He has Yahweh.com.
Very ballsy.
Yahweh.com is the most ballsy thing too. It's like, Jesus, man. Like, it's his website.
I don't know what it took him to get that, but
no shit, yeah. It's like godsname.com, basically. It's fucking ballsy.
Exactly.
That's crazy, man. There's a special place in hell for people like that, probably, man. That's
oh, yeah. There so is.
What is the feast, basically? Like, I heard a little bit about this, like, and I see, like, the register form and shit, like,
yeah,
like
so it's like the Passover feast is, they basically do, it's like a worship of the time that Moses saved like the Israelites from the pharaohs and shit like that. So like when the 10 plagues of Egypt came through and like the 10th plague was like killing like the firstborn sons were going to be slaughtered or something.
Yeah.
They symbolize that stuff. So that's the Passover, because you put like the blood on the posts of the doors, and supposedly like the death angel's going to follow the path of the blood and pass over the door and not kill your firstborn child. So that feast there is like a representation of that. And then the Pentecost and the Tabernacles, I couldn't even tell you, dude. I zoned out on most of those sermons that we sat in all the time and drew pictures and stuff. So like that, I just knew that we gathered for those times. I honestly don't know the symbolization behind them. I know that one just because like they also did what they call Yeshua's Memorial, which Yeshua is like the Hebrew version of Jesus. And they preach like it's around the Easter time that they do it, the whole Passover thing, because the Yeshua's Memorial and Easter kind of coincide with each other, because he died one day, and Easter is like the resurrection day or something like that, and they celebrate the day that he died. So it's supposed to be like a 3-day thing that he was like in the ground or whatever.
And they invite they have outside people coming to these too. Like I see like a form for like to like camp there over this, like on their website. Like they just have like outsiders coming to camp and shit. And is that their recruiting or something?
So that's for the followers that live out of town. So if you live out of town and you're coming from another state or whatever, you can bring a tent or a camper or something like that, and then you pay like your $45 for your camper hookups and all that shit, and then they'll let you bring your camper. They got the whole like compound area has like camper sites and tent sites and all kinds of stuff like that. And then they got the main they call it the sanctuary, the main like church area that everyone goes and does like their that's where they do their sermons and stuff like that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
I'm still like looking through the website when I'm talking to you too. Like, oh, it's just like so like people. What it started off as like almost like a hippie kind of commune thing, and then kind of turned into a cult like after. It seems like.
Yeah, exactly. And like his ex-wife Kay, she like wrote a book about it. I guess like what it was like originally intended to be, because she was there from the beginning, but she ended up leaving when he started teaching about multiple wives because she didn't want to share her husband anymore for obvious reasons. But apparently it was never intended to be what it is now. Like, you know, I guess they just wanted to preach the name and, you know, keep the Sabbaths and the feasts and stuff like that. And then he kind of took it over and like started making it all about his wallet and his penis.
How rich do you think this guy is?
Oh man, it's hard to say because like there was never a shortage of houses that we were working on. So I know that, I mean, he's assets wise, I mean, it's multi-millions. I know that because he's got just a spot, the old church that they got in Abilene. They still own that property, and that's in a good location. So there's that, and then they got the 44 acres out in Clyde that they do like the worship and the feast and stuff on. And then there's a county road out there, 254, that he pretty much owns every house along that all the way up until you get to the road that you turn on to go down to their little compound area. So he's got a lot of property, man, and like properties that I worked on Fort Phantom Lake out in Abilene. He's got some of those, and so it's hard to say. I know that after I left, I had caught wind that, you know, like the lawyers and stuff were starting to investigate a little bit. So he started putting properties in like some of the children's names and things like that. So if his stuff got seized, he still wouldn't lose everything.
Right. What is the FBI looking at this cult, or like what?
Well, you know, the FBI, they really hate cults, man. So like I know for a while they were like on the top 10 like watch list. But I haven't checked the watch list in a while, so I don't even know if they're on there anymore. Because I'll be honest, man, they've been laying low with their like outrageous and outlandish like claims and stuff like that. Because there was a while where they were like actively preaching the end of the world, and after it didn't happen a couple times, they were like, well, maybe we should fucking back off this shit because it's not giving us any good publicity. So
the end of the world was remarkable. I love it.
Right, exactly. So they kind of backed off from that, and they've been laying low. They got this program called the Peaceful Solution, is what they call it, and I know that they've been hitting like the prisons and things like that. That I want to say that's where they do a lot of their recruiting, which is kind of fucking weird if you ask me. Like, you can't get any new followers because your shit is so bizarre. You got to go get prisoners to believe in your stuff.
That's what I heard. I heard he was basically finding, he's preying on like basically prisoners that didn't have families to go back to, and shit like that, for like free place to stay, and then like you turn them into slaves or some shit, like not paying to work and shit.
I mean, you think about it, it's kind of genius, but I mean, but then what
Fucked
happens
up.
when one of these guys fucking murders you? I mean, then what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is smart, but I think it's like just morally fucked up. Like I think just like the aspect of like imprisoning people. I mean, it's funny in like
it's
a comedy kind of
definitely
way.
morally fucked up for sure.
Yeah,
but
if I was
I
writing
mean,
like a comedy or something, it'd be hilarious.
financial.
Oh yeah, he's like basically just like enslaving a bunch of people to give them like houses for free or something, basically.
Exactly. You let some guy live in a shack, picking carrots on a farm. That's living the dream compared to living in a cell busting rocks all day, you know?
Yeah. So why'd you only have one wife?
Well, I don't think I was there long enough to have another wife after I had finally gotten married. I know that my mom had asked me about it, and I didn't make enough money, man. Like, I barely made enough money to support myself. And then I think the wife that I did had, I think she made like $40 a week, and then I made $120. So together we had like $160 a week between the two of us. I mean, give me a break.
You need about 7 more wives just to fucking pay bills.
Exactly.
Get them all like $40.
I mean, there's really no super benefit. Like one of their teachings was that if you had 2 wives, you weren't allowed to sleep with them both at the same time. And I was like, well, I'm out.
Yeah, fair. That's a good point, too. I probably wouldn't marry one woman in that case. That's the only benefit. That'd be the only benefit, right? You're like, yeah, I'm just landing here with these 7 bitches real fast. Like, God's dope.
Exactly.
God wants me to have 7 bitches right now.
Well, you know, like the main thing, like when I talk to people about being in a cult and stuff like that, you know, they're all like, "Oh shit, you were in a cult," you know. But my biggest thing that I want to portray to people is like, I'm fucking normal, you know, like just because I was in a cult doesn't mean that I'm one of those fucking crazy cult people. And there's a lot of people that are like that. You know, they, like my grandmother, she ended up getting out like in the early 90s after she had suckered us all to go in there. But like she saw the bullshit back then, so she was like, yeah, I'm dipping. But like she was a normal person, and she just got caught up in something. She was searching for some kind of truth, and this was in the wake of whatever she was looking for. But when she realized it wasn't a thing, she bounced. But some people don't. They're like invested. My mom, she has a very addictive personality. Like before she was in the cult, you know, like she was into like drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. But now she's not doing drugs and alcohol, but she's like addicted to this fucking cult. And so it's just the type of person that she is.
And your mom's
but not
like
everyone that
your mom's like higher up in this cult too, right?
Oh yeah, my mom is. She's top shit when it comes to women. She's like the big main judge of the women.
I love how you said top shit when it comes to the women. It reminds me of like the fucking like 1700s or some shit. Like you're like she's not even fucking on the charts of a man, but like for women she's pretty high up.
Right. Well, you know that's a funny thing. Like some of my recent friends that have gotten out and like recontacted with me and stuff, they're like, dude, like even the guys don't fuck with your mom. Like your mom can fuck some shit up in there. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, dude. Like nobody fucks with your mom.
Like what does she do? Like she's like clowns on him, or
she gives sermons and stuff now, just like the men would do. Like she's almost like a female version of like an elder or a priest or whatever. Like, and I have a disabled aunt, and my grandmother, the one that had got us in there and had left, she recently passed away, but my aunt was in her care. And so my grandmother, she had these crazy ideas and didn't like my uncle's wife and stuff like that. So she was like, I'm going to put your aunt in care with your mom because I think that's the best thing for her. And I advised against it. I was like, you're just sticking her in a situation that she can't get out of because, you know, she has a mental disability. Like her brain is like has a capacity of like a 15-year-old or something like that, but she's like in her 50s. So even if she wanted to do something different, she couldn't. And so basically basically there were stipulations. My grandmother told my mom, listen, you have to keep in to contact with Brandon and with his uncle in order for this to happen. And if they think that there's any sketchy shit going on, they're going to raise some hell and they're going to come down there and get her. So my mom has recently kind of started like texting me and being kind of cordial with me. And I asked her one time when I found out that she was like this super judge or whatever she was, I was like, what gives you the right to judge people? And she said, just one word reply, Yahweh. I was like, wow, you got direct permission from Yahweh to judge people. And she's like, that's right. I'm like, okay, you're a cocky motherfucker.
So how long until you come back and like lead these people?
Oh man. I'm never going back there.
Not even as a leader?
Oh man, there's no way. Like if I think the leader is like 82 or something like that now. He's getting old. And there's like so many of us that are out that are just waiting. Like, cause when he dies, that place is either going to implode and there's going to be so many people fighting for power that they're all going to murder each other hypothetically or some shit like that, or the place is just going to fall apart. Either that or someone's going to take charge like my mom and end up ruling that place, and it's going to be even worse off.
You should try to go back and like take power.
Dude, you know what? Me and my current wife, we always talk about it, because my current wife, she was actually in there too when she was a young kid, and we always talked about like if we ever won the lottery, like don't tell nobody and just be like, oh, we're so sorry, we want to go back, because you know secretly we wouldn't be hurting for money, so we could go there and actually pretend like we live poor and just go in there and give like donations and stuff like that and work our way up financially to where we are in power, and then just give a sermon like, it's all bullshit, I fought my way up here, fuck this place, and then just fucking see what happens. But dude, I would never go back there. There's no way. I couldn't do it.
Welcome to the show. We have Bruce is in the studio, Brad's in the studio, and on the line we have Brad from 314. How you doing, man?
What's going on? How we doing, guys?
I feel like we just did this without recording. Like
yeah, we did. We literally just did this.
Yeah, the formality thing. I bet you're drinking Aldi beer right now.
I am. I am drinking Hop Lift from Aldi's IPA. It's interesting.
The listeners probably think I'm psychic now.
Yeah, that's impressive, man.
I can guess everything that we just talked about 5 minutes ago off recording.
Right on. So what's going on? How we doing?
Not much. We're just trying to do a show here.
Okay.
Trying to get this going. But you're in a band from area. It's a pretty big band. 314. Would you say like reggae, or what kind of music would you say?
There's a little bit of that, but we're kind of all over the place, man. We do like a lot of like psychedelic rock, reggae, kind of like a fusion band, I guess. We kind of fuse all that together.
Okay.
So
I've met you guys, so I feel weird asking about your band when I've already seen your band. I'm like, well, what do you play? I'm sure. So you guys have a show coming up Thursday at Atomic Cowboy and shit?
Yeah, we're playing with a band called Funk You, and they're pretty fucking awesome. So we're playing with those guys Thursday at the Bootleg, which Atomic Cowboy Bootleg type thing. And we're hitting the studio this Sunday, going to record some new tunes, hopefully, and got a bunch of cool stuff lined up for the summer, and it's going to be good. But yeah, next Thursday is going to be that's going to be a good one.
Can I go?
So,
is it cool
what's
if
that?
I go? Is it cool if I go to the show Thursday?
Yeah, you can go, bro, for sure.
Are you guys doing a full album, or are you just doing like an EP, or just some singles, or what are you doing?
We've talked about that. Like it's tricky to put out an album nowadays. I feel like more and more people are kind of just putting out singles and EPs, and like here's 5 songs. So I think we're gonna just kind of do that route. We tried to put out an album the first time around and kind of like rushed on the recording, and I think we just want to take our time a little bit more in the studio this Sunday and just focus more on individual tracks and trying to make it the best that it can be.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, like full-length albums that are like an hour long are like almost a waste of time and energy at this point. You may as well just release 2 short EPs.
Well, yeah, because you put it out and it's real hyped up, and then it just kind of, you know what I mean. If you put something new out, as opposed to put something new out like maybe every month, every couple months, as opposed to doing just like one big album, I feel like it carries a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure. I think like with radio, the way things used to be, like you release an album and then they release like a song or two like here and there periodically throughout the year, whereas now most things are online.
Right.
Well, no point in releasing a whole album. Let's release 2 or 3 songs at once.
Right.
Who would you say is the most talented member of your band?
Say that one more time.
Who would you say is the most talented member of your band?
The most what?
Talented?
Oh, well, I mean, that's me, dude. For sure. No, I don't know. Our bass player is pretty phenomenal. So he's definitely up there. Is he better than what?
Is he better than you?
At the bass?
Yeah. No, I mean just in general.
Yeah, we're pretty equal. It's pretty equal, I think.
Humble man.
I mean, I think I could take him in a fist fight, though. Honestly.
I probably could. I'm joking. He's like a foot taller, I think. Don't beat his ass right now.
I called him. I tried to get him to do you know what I mean, the 3-way call, because I figured out how to do that on my iPhone.
Yeah, and, I tried to get him into a 3-way too. It didn't work.
He said yes to my 3-way.
Did he?
Yeah. Not phone
I'm
call.
impressed. He's a hard sell, But yeah, he was doing something. He couldn't do it, but yeah, he's okay.
What are some bands in the area you think sucks?
Ooh.
Besides Cricket Wiz.
No, they're great. Oh, man, that's a tough one. I can't really. I'm not really at liberty to say that.
On a scale of like 1 to 10, how dope is Aaron Cam?
Oh, definitely a 10, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, we got the liberty to play with them out in Columbia, which was, we've been trying to do that for like basically since we were a band. We've been trying to play with Cam, and we got to do that with them in Columbia. What was it, like a couple months ago? That was pretty cool.
What's his dick taste like?
What's that?
What's his dick taste like?
I don't know.
I'll just fuck with you, man. I'm fucking. You're a 5-year-old. I have to fuck her out. I don't know. It goes in my head, and I just have to say it. I don't know.
Like week old baloney? I don't know, dude.
Week old baloney.
I mean, if I had to guess,
worth it for the show, still.
Yeah, if I had to guess, that's what I would say.
Good, man.
Yeah.
So back to bands that suck in this area. Like, do you have any who's your least favorite band in this area?
My God, with the hard hitting questions, man.
I think Steve Ewing. He makes a good hot dog, but his band sucks. You know what I mean?
I can't do that.
That's just my perception. Now I wasn't speaking for you.
Oh, okay, all right, that's good.
Who would you say though?
Is my least favorite band?
Yeah.
Man, I can't do the trash talk, man. I don't like to get caught up in that, The local scene is strange, man. It's
I think Story of the Year is worse than Steve Young though. Like Story of the Year is like they're wearing like tight pants and they're like 50.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That first album that they put, I listened to that a lot, like when I was in high school and stuff. But
in 2002, they're dope.
Yeah, what's that?
In 2002, they're pretty dope. 2019, they're kind of faggots,
Okay, yeah.
I think your band's better. Is all I'm saying. I think your band's better.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to come check us out next Thursday, man. It'd be a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out for sure. And anything else you want to tell any the 15 to 20,000 people listening to this? 15 people, not 15,000.
Oh, well, which is it?
We don't know. Somewhere in that range, 15 people. Like my mom may listen, so make it a 16.
So are you telling me it's either 15 or 15,000? It could be like one or the other.
Anywhere in between. Like
15,000 on a good day.
Yeah, it's 15 when my mom listens to it 15 times at work.
It's almost limitless possibilities.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
My mom thinks my show sucks though, so I don't know if she listens.
Well, my mom comes to all my shows and shit, so I respect that. I get that.
Mine does too, but just a shit talk man.
Well, I get that too. I get that more from my dad.
Call your mom. Call your mom.
You want me to call my mom right now?
Yeah, through it.
All right, hold on.
We'll ask her about the band.
Hold on.
What's her name again?
Brad.
No, not your name. Your mom's name. I know your name.
That's his mom's
Christine.
name.
Christine. Oh, I thought your name. Okay. Christine, okay.
Are we calling my mom and my dad? What are we doing here? My dad just had surgery, so he's all hopped up on Vicodin right now.
Let's do mom first, and we'll end with dad.
Okay.
Like we should have like Jeopardy music going.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Christine. How are you doing? You're being recorded for a show. I have to tell you first off. But how are you doing, Christine?
Okay, what's up?
We want to ask you about 314. What do you think of that? What do you think of the
Hello.
band? Hello, can you hear me?
They're cutting out.
I'm sorry, Christine. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear?
Turn around.
Brad's
Yeah,
mom.
what's up?
Brad's mom. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We want to ask you some questions about 314. Like, who's your favorite member of 314?
My son, of course.
Okay. Do you think who's the best band in St. Louis right now?
314.
Okay, we got a lot in common already. So.
All right.
What do you think of your son's music?
Bring it on. I'm ready. Get some more questions for me?
No doubt. What do you think of your son's music?
Go ahead.
What do you think of my music, Mom?
I listened to it in my car.
Yeah.
If I didn't like it, I would listen to it in my car.
That's a good point. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We just want to know.
Now, real bad.
Yeah. I have a terrible voice. I'm sorry, but we'll.
Is this?
I think
Are you there?
I think she's confused.
Hold on. I'm gonna go downstairs because you're cutting out.
Yeah, we just we just threw her into this, Brad.
I know. She's bamboozled.
Yeah. It's like, who the fuck is this?
Okay. All right. Now we're good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
I got a couple. So what do you think inspires your son's music?
Say it again.
What do you think inspires your son's music?
Me, of course.
She's
That's your
got
brother.
a couple.
She's got a couple songs.
My brother did.
Yeah.
That song about bush beer that's by your mom?
For sure.
Well, the
Yeah.
song, something like that, yeah.
It's called Bush
My brother
Beer.
taught him how to play.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Some family roots then.
Family roots. A lot of Hoosiers in my family, a lot of bush beer. So
That's right.
grew up around it.
They like to have fun.
Yeah.
Who's better at guitar? You say your brother or your son?
Say it again.
Who's better at guitar? You think?
I'm
Your
sorry,
brother?
I'm
Or
having
your...
a hard time hearing you. I can't hear you.
Yeah, we're like going so many phones through. We're like so many we're going through your son's phone right now. That's why.
Okay.
No, I was just wondering if
Question?
Brad, can you ask her for me? I don't think she could hear me.
I forgot the question.
Hey, Stan, who do you think better, me or Uncle Bill? That's tricky because Uncle Bill, he's not with us anymore.
Different
so.
style. You can't judge the different style.
Yeah.
That's fair. I was just curious. It's a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think you could pick up the bass player as well?
Oh yeah.
Easy. Well, Brad, do you have any questions for Brad?
No, I just normally ask in person.
You don't have any questions for Brad? There's a Brad asking Brad question.
Yeah.
That'll give you a good segment too.
This is Brad's asking Brad.
Mom. Brad asking
Oh,
Brad.
there's another Brad over there.
Yeah, so
We're two Brads deep right now.
you know me, Brad.
Okay.
You know me very well.
Oh, is this okay? Yeah, I know who this is.
Brad West. His phone number is 636-443-5717.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
You better edit that out.
Just give him a call. You know.
I haven't been told my
Brad.
All right, so we good?
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Anytime.
Love
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. You guys still there?
Fuck yeah, I'm here. I'm not missing this for the world.
Sweet. Good deal. I'm trying to get drunk, man. I got a late start. I feel like you guys maybe started before me.
I've been smoking. I haven't drank yet.
I mean, I've been drinking just like, what, 4?
Great.
That's impressive. A man of culture, you are.
Yeah, I do my best. You know what Brads do.
Who's the best Brad like in this line right now, you think?
If the best Brad what?
On this conversation, do you think is it Brad West or is it like what's your last name? I know on Facebook it says Allen, but what's your last name?
Millaway.
That's right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So which Brad would you say is better?
It's tough because this is what happens. Brad will call me, and I'll come and hang out, but I'll already be like wasted. Like we've never gotten gradually drunk together to where we can tell and decide who's the better or the shitty Brad.
That's a good point.
It's kind of like Captain Planet. Like we just form all the Brads in town, and then we just form some blue creature.
But Brad West told me something funny though. He told me you drink a beer for every president on President's Day.
I do. Well, I try. It's a lot.
How far do you get? How far do you get in that?
The first year I did it, actually when I met Brad, I made it to about I think 16 or something like that. There's videos on my Facebook.
I've seen the videos.
Yeah.
You crack the fuck up on Facebook, man. That's the only reason I annoyed you so much. I'm like, this dude's fucking hilarious.
And sometimes I feel like I annoy a lot of people, but I know that there's a lot of people out there that get a good laugh, and that's the only reason I keep shit posting.
You're one of 5 people that can laugh on Facebook.
What's that?
You're one of 5 people that actually should be allowed to post on Facebook. I feel like.
Yeah, I like to keep it interesting, But we're talking about President's Day. Yeah, so the first year we went, and I mean it was kind of just a fluke. Actually, my mom was like, "Yeah, let's go to Sioux because we're all off work. Just fucking President's Day." I'm like, "Yeah, let's go to Soulard and drink." And it was like, "We'll drink. But I'm drinking a beer for every president, and we're gonna go to Johnny Brock, and I'm gonna buy a fucking powdered wig." And we did just that, and we filmed it, and I made it to about what the fuck? I think it was James Polk, maybe.
Damn, how many presidents deep? I'm an idiot. How many presidents deep is that?
How many presidents do I think I could get?
Deep is that? How many presidents deep is James Polk? Is he's in the 20s or something, or 30s or what? He's like World War I.
I didn't make it past 16, I don't think, and I ended up in McDonald's drive-thru with a fucking the wig. By the end of the night was all fucked up, and then the people in the drive-thru were looking at me all crazy and shit. And it was interesting. So I try to do that every year, but I think I took a year off last year, so I really try to take it to the max this year. I bought a whole fucking suit. Dropped $80 at fucking Johnny Brock's isn't there. I had to go to that spirit place on Jefferson. But I bought the whole deal. We brewed a batch of beer and just got fucking hammered. But I did more of a factual thing this year where I just kind of picked different presidents that had interesting shit instead of doing a beer for every president. And that way I was a little more coherent by the end of it. You know what I mean?
That's great.
It's a little up for debate. I don't know. You were a little incoherent when I showed up. You woke back up though. You were 6 seconds away from a nap when I showed up.
Yeah, Xanax will do that.
And Steve Ewing just makes hot dogs. You know what I mean? It's like I don't think you have much competition in this area. You know what I mean? You sound wildly more entertaining than Steve Ewing making hot dogs.
Oh, I don't compete, man. I don't do the competition.
Oh, it's not a competition.
We played a couple band battles and shit like that, dude. I hate it.
I wasn't singing sucks. I wouldn't say. Not like a competition or anything.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. But
I thought you were agreeing with me at first. I'm like, I almost have him. I'm like, he's playing.
I can't do that. Hey, hold on one second, guys. What? Yeah, I'm doing an interview right now. Yeah. You guys still there?
Yep.
No, we hung up.
Sorry, I'm getting yelled at. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of we just want to play music, man, you know?
I know. I was trying to have fun. I was talking shit for fun. I don't really think that anything about anybody, really.
Don't do that.
It makes me laugh, though. But thanks for coming on, man. We're going to check out your show Thursday at Atomic Cowboy and shit, and everybody listening should go, too.
Awesome, man. Yeah, look forward to seeing you guys, and fuck yeah, dude.
I'll go. Have a good night, man.
Yeah, you too.
Later, Brad.
On the line, we have Debbie.
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
I'm doing peach keen.
Well, a little backstory about Debbie while we have her on her call is she in I guess my words so far before saying I survived living in a cult, and kind of my buddy Brandon kind of told me about this whole story, this organization, and it kind of like got me going, and I posted something online, and she responded like, I'm interested in hearing your story, so, and we're all gonna hear it together, I guess, at the same time.
Hey, your buddy Brandon was a 10-year-old little boy when I met him, so he was my little buddy, and yeah, I still talk to him to this day, so.
That's awesome. He's a good guy. How long were you in the cult?
I spent 10 years there from 1993 to 2003.
Did they like call it a cult, or is that like an offensive thing to say? Would they call it a cult, or is it just like an outside perspective?
In all actuality, the first pamphlet they give you is entitled "What is a Cult?" and they're explaining why they're not a cult, but like they fit it to a T.
Yeah, you got to tell people you're not a cult. You're probably a cult.
It's a cult, trust me.
So what was it like? How did you get involved in this organization or cult or whatever?
I moved from Pittsburgh down to South Carolina, and I met my so-called ex-husband back then. He moved from New York, and we met. And his dad sent him a box of culty literature. I mean, it's one of them little tiny boxes. It's like $5.95, prepaid, stupid shit. And he started reading it. And I was like, okay, whatever, you know. And the day that he, read the drugs and alcohol book and he stubbed out what he was smoking and said, I can never smoke again, kind of disturbed me.
So, how were you, they got you off literature, I guess? Like, they sent you, him information and he got, all hyped up and got you involved or something?
He sent his dad sent him literature and got him all hyped up. His one sister was there, his brother-in-law, his 4-year-old nephew. And they hold feasts 3 times a year. So he decided that he had to go and see what it was about. And in all honesty, we both worked for ourselves, and I was going to see. How often do you get to go see freaks in a mud hole commune? Come on. Seriously.
Definitely. Yeah.
1,500 miles away. Yeehaw. It's a vacation, 2 weeks. And he got baptized, the whole 9 yards. And it was 2 days before the feast was going to be over, and they told me if I didn't get baptized and we didn't get married and all this good stuff, we had to break up when we got back to South Carolina.
Oh, wow.
So.
What was your first day like in the cult?
Honestly, back then, it was all about peace, love. Yeah, everybody, it was like a big family reunion that you never knew you had that many family.
Huh.
Bonfire.
What year was this?
93.
Okay. So, you basically, so your husband kind of pressures you into going and stuff like that, and then, how do they, so it was like a commune that turned into a cult, or was it like a cult at the time, and they made it seem happier for you to join or something?
Oh, it was a cult, disguised as a religious organization. And they were in the process of controlling people, taking their money, all kinds of stuff.
What's some of the fucked up shit they did while you were there?
God, I mean, what do you want to know about? I watched a little girl die. People are dead. They kill people. They have a cemetery that all of the stones just simply say the last name of the cult leader. That's it. There's no first name, no last name, no birthday, no date of death. Good Lord, and those are the only things at the top of my head.
How did they kill that girl or whatever?
I don't know if it was a spider bite. I don't know if it was a rusty nail. I'm not sure. But she got gangrene in her leg, and they don't do doctors there. And they did a home surgery on her. And I will never forget being in the room. I was only in the room because I was there to deliver a note, something. I don't even remember. And they hit an artery. They nicked an artery, and this girl was bleeding out. And I'm like 10, 15 feet from, do you remember a wall phone?
Yeah.
And like, to this day, I feel bad that I didn't call 911. And I've had people tell me that it's not only fight or flight, it's also freeze. Because if I would have picked up that phone and called 911, I have no idea what would have happened to me. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, from like the leadership and stuff of the organization.
Yes. They ended up, her name was Abia, by the way. Everybody out there, this little girl's name was Abia. And she died. And somebody did jail time. It just still sucks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So was it like this like crazy was it like a sex cult, or was it like a drug cult, or was it like what kind of overall like organization was it?
It was an Old Testament polygamous doomsday cult. So you could literally have as many wives as you could support. We were going for the end times. Nuclear war is going to happen. There's storehouses of food. You were encouraged to buy nitrous-packed 5-gallon buckets of food. When I left, I literally left $15,000 of nitrous-packed food with my ex-husband. Because at that point, it's 8 years old. How good is it after 10 years? And by the way, they have a cafe there, and they're using all of the old rice. And the little girls that are too little to do other things, they're left with a colander and buckets of water. And they literally put the rice through these colanders and get the bug and bug eggs out.
That's crazy.
And this happens in America. Yeah.
I know. How did you have to like escape, or did you just leave? Or like what's the condition with that?
I actually really tried to get kicked out, down to the fact of my last feast. I had a bottle of rum, and I was drinking straight out of the bottle at one point because, you know, after you drink so much hard liquor, it's just like, go ahead, drink it out of the bottle. And I was walking around the campgrounds, and I was offering it to people and telling them all of the crap that is crap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at one point, I'm screaming about the leader and what a dickhead he is. And they're chasing me around like the Keystone Cops at the end. I mean, and it's funny because they have their own security, but a lot of them are overweight. So, you know what I mean? And I ended up getting off of the property on a corner where there was a footpath. And I went to my friend's house, and we ended up drinking the last of the rum. And I tried to sneak back onto the property at like 3, 4 in the morning, and I was escorted back to my feast trailer. I ended up just having to file for divorce, and for reasons, but because kids are born in a certain state, they don't want them to leave. And my ex was a bastard, and he ended up actually paying my attorney extra money, so I got screwed. And it actually states in my divorce decree that I couldn't move out of a certain county in a certain state without his express written consent, or I would immediately lose custody of my children, all rights to them. I think he expected me to flee, like, as soon as the divorce thing was signed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They screw everybody out there. They really do.
That sounds insane. So, like, you were in there for how long?
I spent 10 years there.
So from, like, 93 to 2003?
Yep, and I decided that I had to get the hell out, and I had to get my kids out when my 37-year-old husband decided he needed a 15-year-old second wife. And when they take a second wife, they never leave there. Never. And I can tell you, to this day, he's there. And his second wife, I think, either has 6 or 7 kids to him. So.
Jesus Christ, it's fucking gross. That's crazy. So, like, they, like...
My ex-father-in-law, which I suppose he's still my father-in-law because they're his grandkids, he was in his 80s. And most of the time, the women out there are covered over. You can't see who's who because it'll make you lust. Do you know what I mean, Anthony? You lust after people just by looking at them.
Right.
But he saw this girl named Mindy, no last name. Anybody who's listening can know who she is. Ex-members or members, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
80 years old, saw her in Walmart with her mother shopping because you're not supposed to go out covered completely over. And he lusted after her. So he went to the leader and he proclaimed his sin of he lusted after her, which means he committed a sin, which means it already happened. And my 80-some-year-old pedophile freaking father-in-law married a 15-year-old.
Jesus. He's probably a Democrat, I guess.
Who? Him? Them?
Yeah.
I don't know what they are out there.
I'm just joking. That's one thing they have in common with the Democratic Party. I was just joking. But no, that's fucking crazy. He's 87 years old.
He was in his 80s when he married her, yes. He lusted after her, and I'm telling you, it's a pedophilia ring out there. Hey, don't quote me on that. That's just my opinion. Bada bing.
That's crazy as fuck, though. So, like, basically, you have, like, a bunch of, like, old dudes marrying a bunch of, like, little girls and shit. So, like, was that girl, like, I guess, born in there or something, so she didn't realize how fucking weird that was?
Yes, her and her 2 sisters were born there, and they were actually, she was the oldest of the 3 when I met her in 1993, so maybe she was born in 89 or 90. And she was born on the compound. Maybe she went shopping with her mother. Other than that, I mean, there's so much shit they put in your head out there. I can't imagine being born out there. Do you know what I mean?
No, I can't. Yeah, I can't imagine any of this shit. It's fucking weird. How many people were in this group?
At this point, I'm not sure. I can tell you.
Like an estimate, doesn't have to be.
At the height of it, they proclaimed that there were 2,500 people on just a little more than 40 acres. But then things started to go south and really freaking weird, and people started dropping off like flies.
Like
but then again, I see pictures of shit that because, you know, I still talk to ex-members who still have family members who forward them stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And it looks like the place is still thriving. I have no idea. So they got to have their official Facebook page has almost 50,000 followers or likes. I mean, I would like to say they're worldwide. They're not. They claim to be based in one spot in the United States. And that's the place that's going to house all of the saints forever, which, good Lord, wouldn't that take up the entire United States, not one little teeny tiny town? Anyway, their official numbers now, I have no idea.
That's crazy. So your husband's still in the cult, or your ex-husband, I'm sorry?
Yes, my ex-husband has been there for 23, going on 24 years now. Oh, and by the way, he's never made elder, and I just found out his name is Kenny. And unofficially, you know how, like, your friends might refer to you as something behind your back and you never know it?
Yeah.
His name is Kenny, and he's always wanted to be elder. And he never will be elder because he's of more use being hungry for the organization. And he's known as Kenny Kissass.
That's funny. So the worst thing about him wasn't being a pedophile.
I don't honestly think, honestly, I looked at this a while back, and I look a lot younger than I am. So when I was 23, I looked about 12. So maybe that's what he attracted to me in the first place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then by the time I hit 35, he's 37, and then there's a 15-year-old. I don't know. All I know is my best friend, her oldest daughter, was a stepdaughter to an elder that she was married to. And in my show, I call him pedophile elder because he's doing 30 years because he's a fucking pedophile. And he has a prison ministry where he's doing time.
Jesus Christ.
And guess what? Prison ministries, along with, he's an ordained elder with a 503c. Come on. He passes out pamphlets. He passes out literature. They have Sabbath services there. And guess what? When these people have nowhere else to go because no one in the family wants them, guess where they're headed?
Oh, he swoops up the prison inmates getting out and like their family disowned him and shit?
Yep. He gets all the ones that they don't want. They are free labor. They are a lot of things.
Damn, so they use like slave labor there too.
Not only that, when I was there, if you were there and you worked for the press room as a man, you made $1 an hour. You made $40 a week. Yeehaw you.
Damn.
And as a woman, you made 50 cents an hour. So you made $20 a week. How do you live on that?
You don't. They keep you there so you just keep, like, so you can't afford to move out, almost.
I'm not sure how old you are, but I don't know if you remember history where they had stores. You worked for a corporation and you lived in the corporation housing and you bought your shit at the corporation store, and it was so highly inflated that you just kept owing and you never got out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never actually experienced that in real life. I've seen that in like a TV show one time. Like that show Sliders like has something like that. But I know you're talking about the concept. It's like a corporate like kind of fucking bullshit thing that like keeps people there.
They did this back in like the 30s and 40s.
Oh shit.
But you would work for this company. That's the song. I owe my soul to the company store. You
that's
probably
where that's
don't
from?
know that.
Okay, no, I know that song. I didn't know that's where that's from. Okay.
But he owed his soul to the company store because he's working for this corporation. He's living in the housing that they're providing. And he has to buy from the company store, which inflates their prices so much that he'll always be in debt. He can never get out from it. Wow. And that's what the cult does. You work at the press room, the slaughterhouse, wherever, for $40 a week, and you have to tithe on that. And like you literally owe more money at the end of the week than you made. So then you have to give a free will offering of your time, which means in order to work that off, you might have to clean bathrooms. You might have to, on your days off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. They trick you into slavery, basically. It's crazy. Like, how are these people getting away with this? Like,
I really can't discuss that. I can discuss it with you off air, but I can't do it on air.
I got you.
All I can tell you is use your noodle and think about how the world works.
I have my own ideas. I was trying to figure it out. But yeah, I mean, that group that I actually contacted you originally, that's like, what, like 900 ex-members or something?
There's a lot of ex-members, and it's a closed group. We post a lot of stuff about what's going on in our lives, or if we know something that's going on out there. There was one woman who escaped there, and she actually left with her children and went to a different state. And the husband legally was trying to do what mine would have done and get the kids back. And the only reason that they do that is to hurt the woman, because you're their property. You took their property. You stole from them.
Damn. It's kind of heavy to fucking think about. What are are there any perks of being in a cult though? Like, are there any like positive notes outside of it being like fucking like a bunch of pedophile, like criminals, slave labor kind of people? Is there any, like, did you get like, I don't know, is there any kind of like good perks that made you stay for 10 years?
Oh, good Lord. All I can tell you is, I've said this on my show before, if the leader would have kept it like it was in the late 80s and the early 90s when we joined, when it was all about peace, love, all we want to do is bring peace to the planet, usher in the new shit, right?
Yeah.
He would have millions of followers, but he chose to go the power-hungry route. And I can tell you, one of my really good friends there was one of his daughters. I don't know if it was a stepdaughter or a daughter, but she said if my dad told these people, she overheard them, and she told me if my dad said if these people could wipe their ass with nothing but blue toilet paper and gave them a reason for it, the general store would constantly be sold out of blue toilet paper at $5 a roll.
Damn, that's heavy. I always like see these like kind of like polygamous people, and I always like it's like the biggest dorks have like 7 wives. Like I never understood that. Like I watched this I was watching this Mormon show on like Netflix. And he'd be like the biggest loser has like 4 or 5 wives, and I'm always just like, what does this guy have? I'm like, how do they trick this many like girls that don't seem stupid? Most of them seem smart on the show I was watching at least. And like they're with this fucking complete loser, and he has like 5 wives. I just never understood that concept, like how girls would get involved in that.
It's at least my call. If you're an elder's wife, you have a higher spot than anybody else.
So they all marry for status almost.
High school never ends is all I can tell you. High school never ends. In the cult, there was the elders' wives, the deaconesses, the deacons, the common people. It's all in who you dealt with and who your friends were. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And I honestly don't know if I was lucky enough or if it just happened that way. But, like, the people I hung out with was the leader's children. They're his in-laws, son-in-laws, daughter-in-laws. My father-in-law, pedophile father-in-law, was an elder. His wife did the books. To this day, I know who I hung out with, and I know what I know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it seems like in the beginning it was like more of a commune thing where it wasn't like so fucking ridiculous. Like, and then like it just became more ridiculous for you, like the length you were there almost, and then you turned it into like some fucked up thing.
He turned it into a fucked up thing, and to the point of there was a wall that separated the men and the women. And by the way, the women and the girls would get fined 25 cents for giggling or laughing because it gave a man a boner, because men love to hear women laughing. Giggle boner fine, 25 cents.
I don't know if I've ever had a giggle boner.
You know what? Honestly, somebody on the Facebook page put a really good thread thing that they grew up gay, okay? And they spent their entire life in locker rooms with naked people, the same thing they're attracted to. And they never acted on it. They never made inappropriate advances, never said anything. I mean, good Lord, if you can't keep it in your pants, you're the problem. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, no, for sure. If you're not self-control, you're kind of a piece of shit. Like, you know, I feel like this seems like it's like a playground for like psychopaths, basically, where they can kind of like act lawlessly in their little like pretend town. You know what I mean?
It's a playground for psychopaths, pedophiles, and I don't even know what to tell you. And I got out of there in 2003, and it's only been worse. And I've been gone for 16 years. And I've talked to people that have left since then. My youngest son is still there. I don't have much contact with him, but yeah, it sucks.
You couldn't get you couldn't get custody over, or could you not prove it to Colt made money or something, or what was the situation?
In the state that I was in, a child at the age of 12 can decide whatever parent they want to live with, whether it's the opposite sex or not.
That makes way more sense. I thought about the judge and like you walked in, you're like, well, my son's in the cold and his dad's in the cold, and I got out of the cold, and I'd like to have my kid. I'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, no. If the kid picks, that totally makes sense then.
All I can tell you is the place that I came from is 6 by 8 square miles. It's in the middle of nowhere, and you have to travel 3 hours at 70 miles an hour to hit any other town of the same sort. They have one police department, one sheriff's department. I don't really think I need to say more than that, do I?
No, that sounds fucking crazy. Well, thanks for coming on. What's your advertise your show and stuff real fast? Like, tell us the name of the show and what it's about and stuff.
Oh, I have a podcast with a friend of mine. It's called I Got the Hell Out, and it talks about all of my time there. It talks about the news stories that they've been involved in, the pamphlets and literature that they put out, and it's crazy, man. It just is, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I listened to a little bit of it, so I haven't had as much time to listen as much as I want, but I listened to a little bit of it, and you got a pretty good thing going. Anybody listening should go check that out. Where can they find it and stuff?
It's pretty much on anything that has an iPod or a podcast thing. We're not on iHeartRadio. I looked for us today. But I do suggest starting at episode 22 and work your way up and then go backwards. Or start at episode 1 because we really sucked back then.